Hi everyone, it's Phil from Ashland Leather. We're back again with another private stock drop. This time it is Halloween themed. There's a lot of fall themes that we've included for this drop. We also have a few brand new designs to show you. And because the World Series is about to happen, we've got some shell Cordovan baseballs, and then a bunch of Halloween themed items, including some Frankenstein Frank the Enforcers. Everything that we're about to look at will be available on our website, ashlandleather.com, on the private stock page at 12 p.m. noon Central Time this Friday, and that's October 25th. Let's start off first with the very overtly Halloween themed item. This is our Frank the Enforcer wallet that we've dressed up for Halloween. So the first one here is tumbled color 8 shell Cordovan with some black shell Cordovan on the top. And on each of these Frankensteins, they're all unique, so they're all going to have their own product page. The next Frankenstein is a piece of tumbled marbled shell Cordovan. I believe this is tumbled marbled black shell, so we can see the black in the bottom. It sort of fades to a little bit of a green and then a lighter tan shade above. And we got the same effect on the back. Here's another one in tumbled marbled shell, a little bit less dramatic on this specific piece. And one last one in tumbled marble. You can see a little bit more orangey tan shades on the top section of this guy. And here's a look at the back side. If you're not familiar with the Frank the Enforcer wallet, we've got the 2 card slots in the front, one on the back with a thumb notch, and then a larger section in the center. This will fit US dollars folded in half. And we also have hand-stained edges for each of these. So this one is another piece of tumbled marbled shell, but this is marbled color 8. And one more in the color 8. To look at, this one has a black piece on the top. And here's a fun one. I believe this is Epic Splatter Reverse Amaretto. I've never really seen them this orange before, so this is a really special piece. You can also see poking out the top the Horween Measure Machine stamp right there. And here's a look at the back side as well. And one more in the Epic Splatter Reverse Amaretto, a little bit more of an orange shade, definitely a fall theme for this guy. And then I like how these turned out. I'm not really certain what color this is, but this is definitely tumbled shell Cordovan. This might be the tumbled black or tumbled green. I'm not really sure, but the color is sort of a greenish shade with a little bit of blue to it. So I like how this combination of green and purple together. We also have purple hand-stained edges for all the pieces here. Each of these Frankensteins have their own product pages. So the one you see in the photo will be exactly the one you'll get. And then Trevor in our shop had a really fun idea for a new key case. So this is what we're going to call the Bat key case. We made a couple in the black Dublin leather that you can see here. This one snaps closed, the wings fold shut, and then you can hang your key off of this black key ring. And then we have a little lanyard type of thing to connect to the top, so you can connect this to other keys or a lanyard itself. So this is a really fun key design. I was really happy that we were able to make these, and then we blacked the whole thing out. So all black edges, all black hardware, and then all black leather. We did manage to make one in the black Dublin leather with the Horween Measure Machine stamp on the inside, so this will have its own product page also. And then of course we had to make a shell Cordovan version. So this is a black shell Cordovan Bat key case. It's a black shell on the outside, and then we stain the back side of it to be black as well. All black edges, all black hardware. And then one last Bat key case. I thought it'd be fun to show it in the lizard texture on the black shell. So that's what we have here. In addition to the black lizard, we've also stained the back side of the leather to be more black. So this is all blacked out for Halloween. Now let's get into some orange and black color combination. So this orange shade that you're seeing on the inside of the vertical Bugs Moran here, this is actually reverse dip dyed amaretto shell Cordovan. And we have that color alternating with the black shell Cordovan middle card slots. I love how the ink stamp continues all the way across from the left to the right. To me, almost reads like Halloween right there, even though it says Horween. So I think that's a fun way to tie it in. I was trying to come up with a play on words for Horween Halloween, but the names are just too similar. So I'm just going to call it our Halloween event. So this vertical Bugs Moran is a total center black shell on the outside with black hand-stained edges and then that alternating interior. And I have a couple more pieces with the same color combination. This is our Capone money clip with the black hand-stained edges, reverse dip-dyed amaretto. For the top 2 card slots, we have that sitting on some black shell, and then the inside, the same combination here with a black finish on the other side of the black shell. Here's a Tony the Ant in the same combination. Good Horween ink stamp on the back centerpiece, black shell Cordovan in the center, black hand-stained edges, all the same details as the other pieces. I want to show you this one next because this is a leather that we don't carry, and I really like how it looks. The leather here on top, this is actually Cognac Essex from Horween. We haven't done this pretty much ever. And I think I've been sitting on this leather since we started the company in 2011. This is leather we originally bought hoping we were going to make some bags out of it, and have just been sitting on it for a while. So it's a really nice medium brown shade. It's almost like a color 4 shell Cordovan. This is a version of our vertical Frank the Enforcer, but we made it a little bit wider. So we've got 1, 2, 3 card slots here on the front. Those are the vertical slots. We have a hidden card slot underneath that, and then 1 larger slot in the center. On the back of this vertical Frank, and this is again the long version of the vertical Frank, we also have cognac, but this is cognac shell Cordovan with a Western texture. Nice hand sanded edges on this guy, and then some more of that Western cognac on the top. Another fall themed color here. This is amaretto shell Cordovan. It happens to be my favorite shell Cordovan color. It's kind of like the natural shell Cordovan, but definitely a little bit more orangey tan to it. So I'll spin it around. You can see the full range of the shade there. And on the outside, this is also amaretto shell Cordovan, a little bit darker for this piece of amaretto and a little bit lighter on the inside. And I mentioned we have some shell Cordovan baseballs. I want to show you this one first. We have more to look at later in the video. This is a piece of amaretto shell Cordovan as well, with reverse amaretto, I believe, here with a Horween ink stamp. And I did have those new designs I wanted to get to, but before we get there, let's finish off some of the more overt Halloween themed, fall themed items. This is Epic Splatter Reverse Cigar Shell Cordovan on our small zip wallet. This has that really nice buttery smooth Riri zipper with a black horsehide latigo on the inside. Here's another piece in that really cool Epic Splatter Reverse Cigar, sort of a spooky theme here. We also have the cigar hand stained edges for this guy with more of the same Epic Splatter Reverse Cigar on the interior. Here's a great one, and I'll give a shout out to a member over in the Ashland Leather Patina Masters group on Facebook. They have a wallet that is pretty similar to this one, and it is really developing a great patina. So if you want to check that out, check out the Facebook group, Ashland Leather Patina Masters, over there on Facebook. So the Epic Splatter really has that spooky Halloween sort of vibe with the drip marks there. I love the way that this one looks. And here's a look at the edges, because I also like when we have the reverse color 8 shell Cordovan, I like hand staining the edges with a little bit of that matching burgundy stain, the same color 8 stain. Here's a look at the inside of this Fat Herbie. And we have another fun wallet in the Epic Splatter Reverse Color 8. This is a tall Tony the Ant. And the difference between the normal Tony the Ant and the tall Tony the Ant is that this bill slot extends all the way to the top, where the normal Tony the Ant has a little thumb notch lower bill slot on that wallet. On the inside of this one, this is our vertical card slot version of the tall Tony the Ant with more Epic Splatter Reverse Color 8. And here's an interesting Johnny the Fox. This is actually reverse black shell Cordovan, and this piece of reverse black is much different than most of the reverse black we see. Normally it's much darker, like you see on the inside of this wallet, and this reverse black shell Cordovan, especially when it's lighter like this, really develops a great patina. So it'll slowly become more dark and a little bit more golden brown. Here's a look at the inside of this one. We have some reverse black shell Cordovan that definitely appears more green on the bottom slots. So I'm really excited to show you this one. Last week we put up one irregular version of this wallet. This is what we're calling the prototype zipper fox. So it's kind of like a combination between our Johnny the Fox bifold and our small zip wallet. So the difference is, of course, we've got a zipper to hold everything closed, but it's kind of like the normal Johnny the Fox in the interior. We have 1, 2, 3 card slots on the left, 3 on the right. There are no hidden card slots on this one. And then we have a bill slot in the back as well. It's a little bit tricky to get into this bill slot. So I'm looking for feedback for this new prototype design, whoever picks this up. I tried wearing this one for a bit. I didn't have too much trouble with the cash compartment, but it definitely requires a little bit of additional break-in. So this one is an English tan Dublin. I also have another one here in a fan favorite color. This is the teal cypress leather from Horween. The cypress leather is a full grain leather with a wax finish on the top, so you get a really dramatic burst effect. You can see on the spine it's a little bit more of a light teal shade underneath all that wax on the top. Here's a look at the interior, and we thought it'd be fun to combine this with our teal horsehide latigo. I have another teal cypress wallet here. This time we have a different interior color. This is the black horsehide latigo on the inside, and one more prototype zip fox. This is a really interesting piece of green shell Cordovan on the outside. Let me give you a look at that. Really interesting sort of pale green for this guy. It's a little bit lighter than most of the green shells we see. And on the inside, we've got some black horsehide latigo. But wait, there's more. We've got another prototype here. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I wanted to get some more offerings for people to put inside of a bag, more of like a purse type of wallet. The teal cypress is really striking, especially in person. It's almost like an aqua blue. And on the inside of this one, it's kind of like our long wallet that we've done a few times in the past, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 card slots on one side, another 4 on the other side, and then a larger section in the middle. And then we have a different prototype here with that larger middle section with a zipper closure. So I think people are going to like this one as well, although I know some people don't love fumbling around with an additional zipper on the inside. Some people really like the ability to segment this as more like a pouch on the inside. So we're going to try these two out and see what you guys think. On the outside of this one, we've got a really nice piece of Gator natural shell Cordovan, and we'll give you an additional second to look at the range of color on this guy, because some angles it's a little bit lighter like there, and then if you spin it around, it transforms, it becomes a little bit more caramel, a little slightly darker. And it seems like a lot of people have been requesting more of our zipper style wallets, which is why we worked up those prototypes. Here's another prototype that you may have seen before. This is our small zip wallet, and the prototype variation on this guy is having 4 additional card slots on the exterior. So you can see 2 on the front side here, and there's also 2 on the back side. On the interior, we have black horsehide latigo with those gusseted accordion style closures. And I actually like to put most of my cards inside of these larger sections here. On the outside of this prototype small zip, I believe this is what we've been calling blood orange shell Cordovan. It was actually a mistake that the tannery made a couple years ago, and it's much darker than normal amaretto. So we've been calling it blood orange shell Cordovan. Here's another one of the prototypes. We've got some hatch grain shell here. I believe this is also that amaretto, but with a hatch grain. 2 card slots on the front, 2 on the back, and then we've got the Reverie zipper with the gusseted black horsehide latigo on the interior. And here's a really nice piece of shell Cordovan. I think this is Armagnac shell Cordovan. It's a really interesting sort of bronze shade, slightly golden, a little bit yellow. It's a little bit darker than a normal whiskey shell Cordovan piece. On the interior, we have some more of that teal horsehide latigo. And one last one. This is a piece of horsehide Dublin. You can see the grain character is a little bit different and more pronounced than when compared to the steerhide Dublin leather from Horween. And this color here is slightly more brown, a little darker. This is a color that they call chestnut. On the inside of this one, we have another piece of the teal latigo. And let's keep it going. I wanted to show you some of my favorite wallet style. This is the Fat Herbie in raw natural shell Cordovan on color 8 shell Cordovan, natural wax and burnished edge. And then we have some marbled color 8 shell on the inside. Here's another total stunner. We got marbled ultraviolet shell Cordovan for this Fat Herbie with reverse epic splatter ultraviolet on the inside. And this one has our 13-year Ashland stamp on the inside. So we're only making this for this year for our 13th anniversary. And a couple more Fat Herbies here. This time they've got some fun variations. This is the lizard texture on ultraviolet and denim blue shell, natural wax and burnished edges. And then the inside, we've got some additional hidden card slots. And here's another one with hidden card slots, a little bit of a darker piece of color 8 shell sitting on top of some Gator amaretto shell on the bottom there. These hidden card slots, if you're not familiar, they are open all the way through, and then these are sort of stitched down to put your cards. You could put cards underneath here as well, or receipts or things like that. A look at the exterior here, we've got another piece of Gator color 8 shell on top of denim blue shell, and another piece of that really nice green shell Cordovan. This is our Johnny the Fox in green shell, natural waxed and burnished edges that do a nice job framing out that darker green shade. And then we've got some black horsehide latigo on the interior. If you're curious about the Johnny the Fox, I actually recommend the horsehide interiors. I find them to be a little bit thinner. They're also less expensive. So it's a good option if you're looking for a thin traditional bifold. And here's this total stunner. It's gonna be sad when this leather is gone. This is the blonde 1940s calfskin that Horween made in 1949, I believe. And they've been sitting on this leather for years and years, have never been able to reproduce it. And they're slowly selling it off, and we're slowly making some wallets out of it. It's very, very thin. And then we've got this made on a vertical Bugs Moran, which is a great choice for a thin leather. Another vertical Bugs Moran, it's kind of a similar color to that blonde 1940s calf, but this is a lighter shade of amaretto shell Cordovan, the same natural wax and burnished edges. And then we've got some black foil stamps on the left and right, and then the Horween measure machine stamp in the center. Here's a fun one, black and garnet. It's black shell sitting on top of garnet shell. We've got the contrasting red color color stitching all along the border. We got a black spring bar money clip on the inside of here as well. And the inside, we have that same color combination with the black shell on the left and right. Here's another good one, blood orange shell cordovan. Again, you can see a little bit of extra modeling on this piece of blood orange shell. That's sitting on top of some black shell, and we have a black hand stained edge, and then more of the same color combination on the interior. And one last super funky one. This is a number 3 brand that we're calling it. I believe this is a piece of whiskey shell or natural shell. It's kind of hard to tell what color this actually was, but we thought it'd be fun to cut the brands into this wallet for a Halloween theme, and then we have a same matching hand stained edge. I'm really excited to show you this guy here. We're experimenting with some different versions of our hot stamp on the key fob. So this is a mailbox stamp that we designed ourselves and pressed into some reverse black shell cordovan. I'll put this up on the site, see what you guys think about this one. We have a couple other designs that are coming as well. You got the Ashland stamp on the front. And then all the key fobs now have this thicker solid iron key ring, and these are with an antique copper finish. Let me show you a couple baseballs. These are really hard to photograph given their spherical shape. You can see it rolling around in the back there, kind of hard to keep it in place. So this is a piece of hatch gray natural shell, and then reverse for this piece, and we've hand glazed the reverse. This has a Horween USA measuring machine stamp on it. And here's another one, sort of the same combination, but this has a different color stitching. You can also see that Horween USA stamp. These are all random on the leather, so we try to cut them into visible spots. It's a little bit different position on this baseball. And another great shell here. This is 100% marbled cigar shell cordovan. I'll spin it around so you can see the range of color on all these panels. If you're not familiar with our baseballs, these are really difficult for us to make. All the hand stitching on these, it's really tough to get it to fit perfectly around the balls. So when we're able to make some, it's a really special day for me. And then I like to see it personally in funky colors, something like this marbled shell. And speaking of funky colors, this is the lizard texture on violet shell cordovan. We've got an orange contrasting stitch on this guy, and I think it turned out really cool. We've got a couple more pieces to show you. I believe this is color number 4 or garnet shell cordovan. They're kind of close together. This one does appear to be a little bit more red. So most likely this is garnet shell cordovan on a Bugs Moran with a reverse interior. Here's another reverse color 8 piece. This is also hand glazed, so you can see that extra luster on this leather. It's a proprietary finish we've been using on the reverse side of the shell. It's something we call hand glazing. Gives it that nice sheen. So this is our Frank the Enforcer Epic Splatter reverse color 8 with the hand glazing on both sides. Here's a wallet we don't do very often. This is our Joe Batters design. It's kind of like a combination of the Johnny the Fox and the Capone money clip, almost like a traditional bifold, but without any of those traditional card slots. So 2 quick access card slots on the exterior, 2 card slots on the inside, and then we have 1 larger bill slot. And this one has something we call the skip stitch, which is stitched slightly down here to allow you easy access to put your cash on the inside. And one more Joe Batters to show you. This is Epic Splatter reverse color 8 with some really cool Horween stamps on the exterior. Here's a look at the inside. And we have a lucky card holder to show you. And we've done a few variations on the lucky card holder. This one does not have any skip stitch. So they're both sides are stitched all the way to the top in that U shape. We've got the 2 card slots on the front, 1 card slot on the back, and 1 larger opening in the center. This is a piece of whiskey shell cordovan that we've hand stitched with a matching brown thread. And we're gonna round it off with some lighter sheets. We got cigar shell cordovan on the bottom, and then we have some of the brown bison leather to hold on this key ring at the top. We thought it'd be fun to include this for people that wanted a little lanyard with their lighter. This one also has a cigar hand stained edge. Another lighter here, I'm not actually sure what color this is. It's probably Armagnac shell cordovan. It's almost like a dark whiskey color with the natural burnished edges. And the last piece, this is reverse natural shell cordovan. I think this is gonna develop a great patina. Most veg tan leathers do, especially when they're a light shade like this. So I'm gonna come back to my stunners. I really like this bat shaped key case, especially for our Halloween theme here. And then I picked out one wallet. I really like these Frankensteins. I think it's just so fun and different. We actually gouge out like little sections to make it all very random and sort of Frankenstein looking. And then these faux stitches up the sides, I think take it to the next level. Hopefully you've enjoyed looking at all these different leathers and different wallets and different items with me today. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. And if you want to pick up one of these items, again, they'll all be available on the private stock page of the website, ashlandleather.com, this Friday at 12 p.m. noon central. And that's Friday, October 25th. We're trying to get these in hand for you for Halloween. All right, until next time, hope you have a good one and take care.